Welcome back, guys. All right, so we're gonna start. I don't know why the room's not closing. We're gonna start our takeaways around the room. So I just love to hear what your takeaway is, both as a coach and a client today. So who would like to go first?
I can go first. I think we definitely needed more time because, you get to learning being in action. It's like you can't explore enough. So the action step was the first step that the client took. Okay, let's do that. So I think more time in breakout session would have been better today.
I definitely understand. Like the more time you have with learning and being, the action is so easy, right? But the well-designed action is difficult without that learning and being. Robin, what are your thoughts?
My thoughts are, yes, we didn't have enough time, but also sometimes you want to solve the problem, and it's hard for me sometimes not to solve the problem, to keep asking the questions. So there's that pregnant pause that comes up that I want to say, but I don't. And we have to ask the question. So I need to get a little better at masking that, I think.
Well, and in that empathy part, that part of like, oh, I want to help you, hold on to that. And I think, we all have that, oh, I want to help, I want to fix it. But just remember, like, how can I help them get to themselves?
Yeah, she's got to come around to it on her own.
But the empathy and that care, that's wonderful. Don't quench that. Thank you, Robin. What about you, JC?
I had kind of a similar experience. I want to dive right in and jump onto the action, but we had some good discussion about kind of learning and being questions, and it did flow very nicely, kind of leading into the action step with those. So I think just more practice and rein myself in a little bit when I want to jump into solving someone's problems in the first 30 seconds.
Yeah.
It's hard when you can see connections. You're like, oh, I totally know what they should try. That happens to me all the time. And it's like, okay, no, I want that. Because it's actually proven that they're more likely to complete it and feel better about it if they come up with it themselves. So even though it might be the right thing for them, if you were just to tell them, it's not going to be as beneficial for them. Yeah, great thoughts, JC. What about you, Mike? What are your takeaways?
I don't think I'm ever going to have a coaching session that's not going to last like 16 hours. I think I'm going to need to have them catered because I'm just going to be sitting here for a long time. I thought it was great. Yeah, we both picked some really they weren't heavy but important issues to talk about. And again, that we were short on time, but Kellen was really great in helping me come up with some good action items on some things that are really important to me, and by working through kind of hypotheticals around the barriers and the solutions, it came up pretty nicely. And then toward the end, and Kellen, I sent you a quick note because I'd love to go back and readdress some of those issues that you were talking about because I thought they were really cool. So next time if we have a breakout, we'll talk about that. But anyway, yeah, fun and hard work, but rewarding. Yeah.
And Mike, just because things take, taking time around coaching, it's a beautiful thing. Like taking time to dig deep into an agenda, really explore. That's a great thing. Like then there's always more. Even if you have an hour, there's still there's so much more to explore, and that's the beauty of it. There's always more.
Yeah, I believe it.
Yeah. Kellen, what are your takeaways?
Well, I feel like I'm coming around to a better understanding on a question that I was having. Mike's concern, the issue that he and I were discussing was how to bring more fun into your life. And I thought it was great that we were on this specific of trying to think of action steps. And I actually started telling him about how I'd had a conversation with someone else about how it would be difficult to come up with action steps for interpersonal communication problems. So there are these sorts of issues that are sort of oblique and not it's like I feel like they're kind of a little more challenging to come up with action steps for having fun or developing your interpersonal communication skills. But it seems like what I'm recognizing is that you want to keep it balanced, and you want to have the questioning, the being and learning questions, and you want to have the action steps. But some particular issues are going to benefit more from the learning and being exploration than the goal setting. Would you agree with all of that?
Well, I think any situation is going to benefit from learning and being and exploring. Like I feel like even if you feel like you know something, there could be so much new insights being coached around it with learning and being questions. I do think that goal setting is a result of the learning and being, so that I wouldn't say it's one or the other, like one's going to be better than it for another, but I think the learning and being is essential for those things. And sometimes pulling away even more and not putting pressure on goal setting can help you see the bigger picture of something. You might not be ready to set a goal for it or take an action step just yet. You might need to, look at it from, in coaching we call it bird's eye view, like looking at the big picture. You might need to sit on it. And so there might be times where you're not ready to make a goal or commit to an action. It might be something like my action is to think about this some more and like really get a hold on what I want for this area or ponder it, right? It doesn't need to be, what am I going to do about this? So I think you're right. There is times where it's just exploring and leaving it as an exploration until action feels right.
Okay. Yeah, sounds good.
All right. Eddie, do you have a takeaway you'd like to share from tonight so far?
Okay. Yeah, we have a great practice about learning being questions, and is practice is always is powerful, and my takeaway is more I'm doing, more I learn about that, and that's all.
That's so true. Like you learn by doing it more. Like
Exactly. But I think you can you can be a better life coach when you start to understand more the different process. It's not right. It's not right. It's wrong with a different source. But more you understand the different process, to help people achieve goals is great. And I love the practice over here. I love the way we practice over here.
Yeah. And my perspective is that we're never done growing as coaches. Like I feel I learn something new, and the more we coach, the more we learn.
Yeah. What I recommend for everybody is do a lot of search. For example, I like doing the class with this company. Is the company we are right now. And I might do another course with you guys. I want to do another one before go to the ICF. And what I think is pretty good when you get information with different source and prods. Then you can you can support better your clients.
Exactly. That's beautifully said, Eddie. And as you're going, if you want even more practice beyond class, there's the 30 for 30, which is a meeting that takes place every Wednesdays. So it alternates between 9 a.m. Pacific and 4:30 Eastern every Wednesday. But that's a chance where you get to, John's there, and then there's someone else, and you trade 30 minutes of coaching, and they coach you for 30 minutes. And it could be about anything. So it's extra practice. So I definitely agree with you, Eddie, and I know I love continuing practicing and learning and how we grow and develop as coaches. Laura, do you have any insights or takeaways so far from tonight?
Not really. I like this wheel. I think that's a good starting point, especially for somebody who's like I don't know, I'm just so overwhelmed, and it gets them focused on, where they can, start. And I find it a huge thank you so much relief to hear that other people have a hard time not fixing problems for the person they're coaching, because that's my main thing. It's like, I know just what you should do. Here, let me help. No. So I'm really, really looking forward to developing, the art of asking good questions with the other people in the class.
Yeah, very exciting. I'm so glad to have you, Laura. So surprise for you guys. We get to go back to the same breakout rooms, except this time we're going to totally eliminate the pressure of, let's get a well-designed action. So what we're going to do is we can go back to rooms for the remainder of the time to do brainstorming. So we're going to totally separate judgment of, oh, is this a good action step? Should I do this? What are the pros and cons of this? And just be totally creative and brainstorm. So as a coach, just remember to, don't try and be clever and cute. And it's more about really tap into creativity. And as you hear what your client is saying, help expand their ideas, help them be even more creative in just what are some possible things I could do without the element of judgment. So we're going to see the difference between the pressure of we need to get the learning bee and get an action step. And we're going to see the difference between that and we're just going to brainstorm without any judgment. Okay? Does that make sense to everyone? So just brainstorm, put your creative hats on. We're going to go back to the same rooms. So probably split up the time or focus on, if there's one of you that really wants more brainstorming, you can do that as well.